But I'm just giving you guys the post recap of what I talked to players in NA and Japan and EU. I talked to like everybody as much as I could to like decipher certain things, because I was on a reconnaissance mission to try to figure out why the hell I'm not playing this game and what I need to do. So Japan's meta is very interesting. Like, they still think Soul's like top tier. They just think he just loses to fucking Nago, which is interesting. Bombabon told me that America really thinks that Ram is like that good, and in Japan this character gets fucked up. They don't think Ram is that strong. They think in Japan they think the best character is Nago Ryuki, and I kind of agree with that. I think it's because Ram is very straightforward. I think it's like Nago HC, like their top tier is totally different than ours. Yeah, so like Nago HC Zato were like top 3 in Japan. I think Zato is better than Ram, straight up and down. I think it's just those 3, and then everything else is debatable after that. I think literally Nago, Zato, and HC are top 3. You can debate whoever else you want after that. It doesn't matter. Because at that point, you're just fighting for scraps. The other characters are actually leaps and bounds better than Ram. I literally think that those 3 characters are better than Ram. I think Ram is like, I'm gonna be that person, and I think Testament is a bit better than Ram. I think Testament is creeping around top tier. I think the only issue about Ram is like, Ram's normals are just jacked up. But I think Ram's overall mid-screen game is still weak. And I don't mean weak by like she can't do anything. I mean it's not as strong as say like Testament. I think Ram still has potential, but I see what Japan is saying about Ram overall. Like, Ram shines in the corner, but what makes Zato, HC, and Nago so good is they fucking body your ass in neutral. They body you way too hard in neutral. And I think Testament is along the same vein. And after watching Slash play, I think Mei could also be better than Ram. I think Mei still has a better mid-screen game than she does. I'm gonna keep it real. I think Ram is strong, but like not as strong as people make her out to be here. It's because she doesn't get major rewards in the neutral without meter. I'm not saying she doesn't get reward. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying the reward, like if Mei does jab slide, gotta hold some shit. She doesn't even get a knockdown. She needs to hit you with the records, and the records they don't hit from max range. Mei is fucking strong. Okay? It's weird, like I've seen so much this weekend that like after talking to Bombabon and Daru and them and Jiro and hearing their opinions on characters is like, it's so interesting.
How you doing?
It's super interesting.
Never forget about that.
Like,
That's all we got.
it's because what they value is the neutral game. I think the 2 characters for sure, there's 3 characters to get nerfed for sure. HC, Zato, and fucking Nago. They need to get clapped. They actually need to get clapped. Like literally after staring at the game a lot, like I took mad notes at Evo, dude. Like mad notes. And like the more I look at it, it's interesting because like Nago Ryuki is like perfect, but he has like a shortcoming. He actually has bad matchups. But he can outplay the bad matchups just by doing the thing necessary to win. So they believe in Anji also, which is not surprising. I've been saying Anji's a lot better than people give him credit for. It's just it's interesting too, right? Because Japan and EU believe in Jacko. NA does not. The only person, like Latif, thinks through and through I should just main Jacko. He thinks I should just main Jacko 100%. But there's a couple characters that aren't in Japan. Testament isn't played in Japan heavily, and neither is HC. They're not played super heavy. How regions approach this differently? Easy. Japan focuses on neutral. Because this game's Oki isn't that OD. So they know that like if they're getting the clean hits in neutral, like that's where you die. So like they favor heavy neutral characters. That's why they believe Soul's still strong. But like I get this game a lot more now. It's not just about the top tiers. It's about making sure your risk reward ratios on any major hit needs to count. And like that's an issue with Chip and Milia. They don't like they hit you, but they don't make it count. Chip does a better job than Milia, but in some cases Milia does it better than Chip because she gets the KD. But the problem is the mix-up isn't guaranteed. I have a new outlook on the game, and like I think the game is like the game's tiers are based on risk reward for me now. It's all about the risk reward. That's it. And I can make another list based on micro situations now. Because there's characters that win in micro situations. So if you want my honest opinion, I think Chip and Millie are great at micro. The problem is the micro is too little. The micro is exactly what it is. It's too little. It's micro. So your reward is little. But like every other character minus their micro that's top tier, it doesn't matter. Oddly enough, I think she's the #1 speedster, then Chip, then Milia. I think the issue is people don't play her right. I think people don't play her right. That's my new evaluation. I think some of the cast isn't getting played properly. That's what I think. I think right now HC is optimized, Zato's getting optimized, Kai's gotten optimized, Ram's optimized, Leo's been optimized, he's getting optimized, Bike is getting pushed pretty heavily too. So I think we only have so many characters getting pushed, being optimized. After talking with Bombabon, I kind of agree with this. I think the tier list in season 2 actually is more condensed. I think season 2's balance is a lot more condensed now. Even though I don't agree with everything in terms of the balance changes, I think it's a step in the right direction to make the game better. And that's what it boils down to, right? But I think if they lower the damage, it gets better. So I think the biggest nerf they need to do to this fucking character, and I'm gonna keep saying it, they need to just take away his guts. Make him have 0 guts, and like, make him have 0 guts, for starters. His offense is already good. Make it so when he whiffs, he gets fucked. Stop letting him like whiff a fucking button and let him shoot at you. That's bullshit. Yeah, HC has too many failsafes, correct. HC is, bro. I know why Japan puts him at #1, but I do think this character, when played properly, is the best character. But I think Nago's good, but I think HC has a way better matchup spread. But Zato, this motherfucker he needs to get clapped. I'm talking clapped. I don't care if he's still good. He needs more, like, there needs to be more fucking counterplay. When I was watching everyone's counterplay, I'm like, you know the funny thing about Zato? And this is when I watched Latif play Bombabon, right? The silly thing about Zato, right? Every bit of counterplay is risk reward on your side. It's not a risk for him. Zato has by far leaps and bounds some of the best burst baits in this game. And it's frustrating to say that as a Chip player because this motherfucker used to bait the fuck out of bursts. But him, all his shit is non-committal. Because Eddie, he never has to put himself at risk because he can use Eddie to bait and just dash up and just chill or use break the law. This is the one game where break the law is fucked up. Shadow Kermit does mad work, and the new changes to Pierce's. As I watched like everyone that played Zato this weekend, I'm like, yo, Pierce is jacked up. His 6P, 2H. I think the most jacked up shit about this character now is Pierce and his reflector. I think Drunkard Shade and Pierce are stupid. Because you can't interrupt it no more. Right? Like if you try to interrupt it, you get clapped up. And you get calm, he's like, you literally get clapped up. He's like, and then he gets fucking Shadow Kermit at the end, and then it's like cool. And then Zato gets to pull up. And the Eddie gauge gets full afterwards? Like, nah. They need to make it so the Eddie gauge doesn't regain so fast. The regen on Eddie gauge is stupid in this game. It needs to go. They gotta change that. He can fight. I feel like he doesn't really have a bad matchup. You could argue HC, but I think he could box HC. Even if you say it's a 6-4, it's still a winnable one. I think Chip fits in the counter pick department. Like, Chip can fight all the top tiers. But he can't make too many mistakes. He has a place in the meta. He has a place. But I think Gio in some cases fulfills his role a little bit better. She doesn't need major mix-ups. She just needs good strike throw. How Japan view Go Lewis? They think Go Lewis counters Nago. And I don't disagree. Go Lewis is considered pretty strong by Japan. Yeah. HC and Zato just kill him. But he does beat Nago. I think the issue overall outside of HC and Zato, I think Go Lewis just has a tough time in certain matchups, but I think he can box most things in the game. I would add Testament to that list of characters also for Go Lewis. So realistically speaking, and I think most people can agree to this, if they lower the damage of this game gets better. And a lot of other characters would shine if that was the case.